Greetings, YouTube. Today we're looking at a cold steel Bushman, which is too large to really show off in... Well, can I get that just in frame? Maybe. Mostly in frame. And I bought this at a antique shop, which I paid 10 bucks for it, because it was 20 bucks and was on sale that day. So I paid $10 for this. Now, this is actually my second Bushman, but the first Bushman I purchased, I bought specifically to make a spear out of it. And so that's a spear in my closet. It is not, it's not functioning as a knife. And I didn't own one, and the one I purchased didn't have this nice leather sheath. And this leather sheath does have a plastic liner. So that's cool, and in fact, this is how the liner is attached to the sheath, the leather, with these little rivets in there, semi-enclosed. It has a belt loop right there, and I think this hole was probably put in there by the purchaser. I don't know if that's official or not. The purchaser that owned this before me. Now, so let's get this thing out. Now, when this thing comes from the factory, it has a coating. In fact, you can still see the coating here. The person that owned this before me either removed it intentionally, and I think they removed it intentionally, or through hard use. And they did it. It's not perfect. There are spots in here that have not been. It has not been removed on it. But I happen to it's very attractive. You notice this is a real leather sheet because there's little bits of leather on my desk now, on my table. But I've always liked the blade shape, which is one of the reasons I bought it to make a spear, so that'd be kind of cool. And this has a hollow handle, and I have, hollow handle, and I have actually seen examples of people corking it and using this as a survival knife by just plugging up the other two ends. So you could potentially hold things inside this if you want. Now, the person that owned this before me wrapped it, and I think they might have actually wrapped this in medical tape. I'm not 100% sure on that. But it's been old, and it's got such a patina on it, and it is actually quite comfortable. And there is a very tiny amount of traction from the tape itself still there. Not to mention, it does give texture to an otherwise plain steel rolled grip. So the grip on this is something that you may want to modify yourself, because it is just plain steel. There are no scales, no nothing. This is a minimalist design knife, but it's decently thick, and it is good quality steel. Actually, I haven't checked this. Let's see what this thing weighs, just out of curiosity. Let's get the readout in the frame. Good. Let's get the knife centered on the scale. There we go. So 302 grams. So it's for a fixed blade. It's got some heft to it, which is okay, because this could be actually doing some light chopping, and this shape is just really nice. Now, I haven't looked at the one I have in my closet in a while, and I don't remember if it was, this is a hollow grind, flat here, hollow ground here, and I don't remember if it came to a secondary bevel, but whoever owned it before me has put a convex edge on this, and they've done a really nice job. It needs the tiniest bit of honing. It is in really nice shape. In fact, that spot right there is just beautiful. And again, just the tiniest bit of touch-up on this. You might even be able to pull this off if you had a strop on this. They did an excellent job of maintaining this. There's no chips in it, and it's really in nice condition. And I mean, buying a Bushman isn't, I can't remember what the cost is. I mean, the full price on this would have been 20 bucks, and I paid 10. But Bushmans aren't overly expensive. It's one of the reasons that they're so popular, is because they're a knife that you can purchase. It's a nice piece of steel, and you can beat on it, and you're going to be assured it's not going to fall apart. There's nothing to fall apart. It is one contiguous piece of formed steel. So it has a lot of durability. And I mean, it's a great thing. But you add that, the fact that the steel is good, and then you find someone that really knows what they're doing when it comes to sharpening, and it is just a beautiful thing. And I like the the fact that the coating is not on here, because I'm not a huge fan of coated blades. I'm really not. I like the look of steel. It is. I find the plain metal to be aesthetically pleasing. There are a number of plain metal objects on my desk which I keep around just because I find them attractive, and I like the tactile sensation, the feedback from touching plain steel. And be careful though, because that edge is sharp. But yeah, this is a nice little knife. Oh, actually, a nice big knife. I mean, that's a good sized knife. That span for my hand is roughly 9 inches. So yeah, this is a good sized blade. And if you're looking for a knife that would be a good outdoorsy thing, particularly if you're looking for something that would fit into a bug out bag, and you know that it's going to be there, and you're not going to have to worry about the fiddling with bits falling apart or breaking or a scale snapping or something on you, this definitely would be something you might want to look into. I believe the sheath is extra. I don't believe, or you can buy it together or something. But I didn't when I bought mine, because again, I knew I was going to make a spear out of it, and I didn't really care if I had a sheath or not. And they may make a Kydex for this, but I'm not 100% sure. And recently Cold Steel was purchased by someone else, so maybe the lineup of knives and accessories will change in the near future. But I would definitely suggest you wrap the handle if you're going to use it as a knife. Again, using it as a spear doesn't matter. And this person may have used it as a spear at one point, because there is a hole here naturally, and they actually poked through to it. So maybe they used it as a temporary spear. You can do that. You just screw it on there and screw it off. So or even use a pin or something. You could use a nail, tap, 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 and you're good to go. I would definitely suggest wrapping the grip with something to give yourself some purchase, because if this were wet and it's just plain steel, that's going to be kind of an issue. Now, the one downside to having this kind of plain rolled steel grip is that there is no edge alignment. I mean, unless you choke up on this and then you can feel the fold, and then now you can get an edge alignment. But if you just grab this with your eyes, you're not looking exactly, if you're pulling it blind from like behind you or something, or a sheath, you're not necessarily going to have an idea where the edge is exactly, because of its round nature. Edge alignment is not something I considered until I began to watch my friend Skal's videos on his channel Scalagrim, and where he talks about the importance of edge alignment, and he opened my eyes to the importance of edge alignment and showed me how absurd some of the sketches I had made in the past, because almost none of the weapons I designed had a edge alignment taken into account. So I actually try to take edge alignment into account now when I'm doing actual weapon builds down in my shop. So go check my DeviantArt out and look at my weapon builds, and you can see what I'm talking about. So this has been the Cold Steel Bushman, just a wonderful field knife. And this particular one was cared for by someone that knew what they were doing, and I really do appreciate that.